So I made a video a few weeks ago reading James chapter 2, and this person said, wait, but that verse says spirit. Why did you read it as breath? Is there just no difference? Not trying to argue, just wondering. So in the Bible, written in Hebrew and Greek, there's two words that are translated as spirit in the Bible, ruach in Hebrew and pneuma in the Greek. And if we just look at the Greek here, pneuma, it is translated as wind, breath, or spirit. And if you look here, any of the above renderings, spirit, wind, breath, is always theoretically possible. But when the attributive adjective holy is used, it's always referring to the Holy Spirit, or you could even say the holy breath. Breath is closely related to our life and our lungs, right? We see in John chapter 20 where Jesus breathed on them and said to them, receive the holy breath, receive the Holy Spirit. It's the same person. And if you go to James chapter 2, this is the most obvious place where breath should be used instead of spirit, at least I think. Where James says, for just as the body without the breath is dead, so also faith without works is dead. Every time I read this verse, I'm going to say breath instead of spirit because the analogy is so much clearer. We can't really explain what spirit is. There's so many, like the spiritual realm, spiritual warfare. That language is used all the time, but I don't know of anyone who can very clearly explain what spirit actually means. And it's not like I hate the word spirit or something. I'm fine with it. But when you use the word breath instead, it's a whole lot easier to understand. And spirit just kind of gives off this just anti-material kind of vibe. Whereas the word breath is, you know, it's closely related to the body. Body without the breath is dead. The spiritual realm is closely connected and working with the physical, okay? Now, the analogy here in this passage is, I think, a lot clearer with the word breath, because if I am a living body, I'm going to be breathing. If I don't have a breath, that means I'm dead, okay? Now, if someone has saving faith, remember James is comparing saving faith with someone who just says that they have faith and doesn't actually do anything good, right? It works with faith that works is dead by itself. So if someone has true, living, saving faith, they're going to naturally produce works, just as a natural, you know, living body is going to naturally produce breath. So faith without works is dead. It's not a real saving living faith. Okay? Now, for an Old Testament example, I like going to Ecclesiastes chapter 3, where it says, for the fate of the sons of men and the fate of beasts or animals is the same fate for each of them. As one dies, so dies the other. They all have the same spirit or breath. Some translations do say spirit. So there is no advantage for man over beast, for all is vanity. All go to the same place, all came from dust, and all return to the dust. Who knows that the spirit of man ascends upward and the breath of beast descends downward to the earth? Who knows? Animals die, humans die, they go back to the ground when they die. So this idea that humans are spiritual beings and creatures, they have souls and animals don't, it's not taught in the Bible. And I'm using the Legacy Standard Bible, and the word ruach was used there in Hebrew. And if we go to chapter 12 though, here it says, then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to God who gave it. Even though the word breath was translated as breath in chapter 3 when it's talking about animals and humans. Once again, this is another verse that people used to say that people do go to heaven when they die. They become a spiritual being and then they go up to heaven and they live with God. But no, God gives life. He gives breath to all creatures on earth. When people die, their breath of life returns to God. He gives life and he takes it away. One last example in the New Testament. Let's look at Jesus saying, Father, into your hands I commit my breath. Some people think that this means that Jesus went straight to heaven when he died. But of course, I think that is incorrect, because Jesus said, for I have not yet ascended to the Father in John chapter 20. And this is, of course, after he was raised from the dead. And Jesus also said that the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth, not in heaven for 3 days and 3 nights. When I die, I'm going to say, God, I commit my breath into your hands. You have my life is yours, and I trust that you're going to give my breath back to me at the resurrection of the dead, where I'm going to live forever with his breath in my lungs, of course. So yeah, that's an interesting thing about the word spirit in the Bible. You can literally always replace it with the word breath, and it means the same thing. Or you might even get some better understanding. Like I understood James chapter 2 a bit more when I knew that about the word spirit. It made so much more sense to me. Anyways, that's all for today. Love you guys so much.